Breaking news has just surfaced at Manchester United, and it's set to shake up this transfer window in a way that nobody could have predicted. There's a fresh update about a potential signing, and the financial side of things is sending shockwaves through the club. Just when everyone thought the Red Devils had wrapped up their major summer business, new details have emerged that could force the board to rethink their next move. The sums being mentioned are unlike anything we've seen for a while, and the negotiations are far more complicated than supporters might realize. Something significant is brewing behind the scenes, and you won't want to miss out on what's coming next. If you want to stay ahead of every twist and turn this summer, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now so you're always first to know about Manchester United's latest moves. Carlos Baleba has become the center of attention in this summer's transfer window as Manchester United set their sights on the Brighton midfielder. The story started with quiet whispers around Old Trafford, but it's now clear that United's interest is very real. Carlos Baleba's name has been on the lips of decision-makers at Carrington, and for good reason. He's seen as one of the most promising young talents in English football, and his rise at Brighton has caught the eye of several top clubs. However, there is a major obstacle standing in the way of any deal, and it's all about the price. Brighton and Hove Albion have made it absolutely clear that they are not interested in selling Baleba this summer. Reports from top sources reveal that the club's hierarchy have no intention of letting him leave, no matter how much interest is shown from elsewhere. The message coming out of Brighton is straightforward. Carlos Baleba is not for sale. There's no release clause in his contract, which gives Brighton total control over his future. The only way a transfer could happen is if an extraordinary bid lands on their table. And that's exactly where things get even more complicated. Brighton have privately indicated that it would take more than £100 million just to start a conversation about Baleba. This eye-watering figure reflects how highly they rate the 21-year-old midfielder. Brighton's stance is firm, and they aren't even encouraging any kind of bidding war. For Manchester United, who are already carefully managing their finances after a busy summer, this news comes as a significant setback. It's important to understand just how much United have already spent in recent months. The club made a bold move for Matheus Cunha, splashing out a massive £62.5 million to bring him in. They followed that up by landing Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford, another expensive deal costing £71 million. And now, with the imminent arrival of Sesko, Manchester United's budget is being stretched to its limits. The reality is that there simply isn't enough left in the transfer pot to meet Brighton's huge demands for Carlos Baleba. Despite all these challenges, there's no doubt that United's admiration for Baleba runs deep. He's not just another player on their radar. He's someone the club has been tracking since before he even joined Brighton. United were aware of his talents well before he exploded onto the Premier League scene, and their scouts have never taken their eyes off him. Baleba's performances over the last season have only strengthened their belief that he could be a game-changer for the Red Devils. But as things stand, a transfer looks almost impossible. Brighton are holding all the cards, and they've shown no sign of changing their minds. Baleba himself isn't pushing for a move, even though his representatives are well aware of the interest from Old Trafford. Unlike some young stars who try to force through big-money transfers, Baleba is keeping his head down and focusing on his football. That mature attitude has only made him more attractive to United, but it also means the club faces a real struggle if they want to sign him this summer. Behind the scenes, United's board is weighing up their options. They know that spending more than £100 million on a single player could create financial headaches down the line, especially with new regulations coming into play. There's also a sense that Brighton's valuation might be a way of scaring off potential buyers, rather than a true reflection of Baleba's market value. Either way, the club's transfer team are now being forced to look elsewhere, searching for midfielders who might come at a more reasonable price. What does all this mean for United's fans? There's a mixture of excitement and frustration. Supporters are thrilled that the club is aiming high and targeting top talent, but there's a growing sense of impatience too. After missing out on other big names in recent windows, many are desperate to see fresh faces join the squad. The arrival of Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko has lifted spirits, but the thought of missing out on a rising star like Baleba is hard to take. As for Carlos Baleba, his career is only just beginning. He's proven himself as one of the brightest young prospects in the Premier League, and his value is only going to rise if he keeps developing at this rate. For now, he remains a Brighton player, and the Seagulls will be hoping to build their team around him in the coming season. United's interest is a compliment, but Brighton's firm stance suggests they are determined to keep hold of their star man for as long as possible. In the end, this story is a reminder of how tough the transfer market can be for even the biggest clubs. Manchester United have the ambition and the financial muscle, but sometimes the numbers just don't add up. The Baleba saga isn't over yet, but unless something dramatic changes, it's hard to see how a deal can be done this summer. Still, in football, surprises happen every day, and United fans will be keeping a close eye on developments until the window slams shut. For now, the message from Brighton is clear and unyielding. Baleba is going nowhere. United's summer business may have to move in a different direction, as the club looks to strengthen elsewhere on the pitch. Supporters can take comfort in knowing the club is still chasing top talent and refusing to settle for second best. This latest update is a fascinating one for Manchester United, and it could still lead to something positive. Do you think the club should push harder to try and sign Carlos Baleba, even with such a huge price tag attached? Let us know in the comments below with a simple yes or no. Your opinion is what makes this community so strong. Carlos Baleba is a name to remember, and your passion as a fan keeps this club moving forward. Hold on. Before you go, there's another explosive Manchester United video you simply cannot miss. Check it out next.